Hello again guys, it's Chair back in another video. This has been my third attempt in recording this video, but like it kept on crashing and stuff, so yeah. This is gonna be my final time trying to record this. If it fails, I'm gonna try tomorrow. Let's get into the video. So guys, this is what if Naruto left Jiraiya on the 3 years training trip. We're gonna start this what if with Naruto. Naruto's at the Valley of the End on the ground, thinking about how Sasuke stabbed him and how Sasuke betrayed the village. But Naruto then gets like flooded with some other information, like how he's been treated, by the villagers, which Naruto didn't really remember for a while. As the third Hokage flashback. Naruto was 6 years old. Naruto had been brutally beaten up by the villagers. The third Hokage did not want Naruto to resent the villagers, so he decided to tell, a Yamanaka member to go and seal off Naruto's memories of the incidents back to the present. So, Naruto then gets flashes of how everything, like how he's been treated by the villagers, which is really shocked by. He could never really remember these memories because they were always fuzzed up. So, when Naruto drew on the ninth chakra, it like went and broke the seal which the Yamanaka had put on Naruto's mind, so he couldn't remember anything. So all these memories are starting to flood Naruto, and his hatred is growing and growing and growing. It's starting to build up, and Naruto is like feeling anger and rage. So Kakashi comes and finds Naruto. He sees Naruto on the ground, like with his eyes open. Which Kakashi then grabs Naruto and sanctions straight to the village. Kakashi arrives as he takes Naruto to the hospital, where Naruto then begins to get healed. So Tsunade then comes and heals up Naruto, which after that Naruto then passes out as he then goes to his mindscape. In the mindscape, Naruto starts to walk around in his mindscape, looking for the Kyuubi. He has some questions he needs to ask. So Naruto then approaches the cage as he sees the Kyuubi in all its majestic glory inside the cage. He then says, "Kyuubi, we need to talk." Which the Kyuubi then opens one eye and says, "Brat, what you need to talk about?" Which one says, like, "Can you please tell me what are these memories I'm seeing? The memories of me being beaten up by villagers, is this true?" Naruto says to the Kyuubi. Which the Kyuubi then nods and says, "Oh yes, the third Hokage had put a seal on your mind so you couldn't remember all these memories. He didn't want you to hate the village and everything, destroy the village later on when you found out about me." Which Naruto, is really angered by, his disheartened, that the village would do this to him. So, Naruto then asked the Kyuubi if he knew his parents. Which the Kyuubi then says, "Oh yes, I knew your parents. Your father was the fourth Hokage and your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, my other Jinchuriki before you." Which Naruto then shocked about and says, "The many other Jinchuriki before me?" Which the guy then knows and says, "Yes. First there was Mito Uzumaki, the wife of Hashirama. Then there was Kushina Uzumaki, the wife of the fourth Hokage, your mother." Which Naruto, is angered by that the third Hokage kept such a secret from. So a week later, Naruto then wakes up, from his mindscape, after chatting with the Kyuubi and learning various things, which I'm not gonna say right now, but I'm gonna say them in the future. So Naruto then wakes up, starts to look around as he then sees, Jiraiya in the room. He says, "Oh, Pevi Sensei." There's Jiraiya says, "Bright, stop calling me that. I'm Jiraiya the Gallant." Jiraiya says, exclaiming loudly. Which Naruto then just sighs, and says, "So Jiraiya Sensei, what are you doing here?" Which Jiraiya then says, "Oh, I want to take you on a 3-year training trip, Naruto, so we can go and train to control the fox's chakra, so you can improve your fighting and everything." Which Naruto then nods to Jiraiya. Time skip a week later. Naruto is heading towards the gate. This whole week Naruto has been ignoring people. He's been keeping to himself, which people were starting to get worried about, but they just shrugged and thought of it as nothing. Naruto then arrives at the gates, and as he sees all of his friends at the gates wishing him luck on his training trip, which then tells them thank you as he then heads off with Jiraiya. Naruto and Jiraiya have been traveling for over a month. As Jiraiya hasn't been teaching Naruto anything necessarily, is, Jiraiya has been telling Naruto to improve his chakra control and controlling the Kyuubi's chakra. So, flashback with Naruto and the Kyuubi. Naruto and the Kyuubi talked for a while, as the Kyuubi eventually confessed that she's not a male, she's actually a female, which then turned, into like a human appearance, which Naruto was really shocked by. Because, Naruto was instantly attracted to her, she was looking good. She was wearing a red kimono with a D cup, I think. A D cup. Maybe like Tsunade, yeah, almost like Tsunade, but not there exactly. So, Naruto then decided to tear off half of the seal, as the Kaiba told him to tear off half of the seal. Which Naruto asked why he should do this, and the Kaiba then says, "Oh, the third Hokage put some seals on you, which will hinder your growth." Because, he thought of you as the ninth was not Naruto, which Naruto was really angered by. Which, is keeping on adding fuel to Naruto's anger. So, Naruto then rips off the seal, as the Kyuubi then pumps some of her chakra directly into Naruto's system, which burns off some of the seals, like except for some other three seals which remain. So the other seals which remain, are cutting off Naruto's dojutsu, and the other two are restraining his personality and like his knowledge. Those three seals, those are the seals which remain. So, the Kyuubi then chose Naruto about the three seals, that these are the seals which are like remain. You have to remove them by yourself. Which Naruto then says, "Okay, I'll remove them later on after I'm done, training." So, this goes over for like around 5 months. Is, Naruto hasn't been learning anything. Nothing decides to ask Jiraiya Sensei if he's gonna teach him anything else. Jiraiya then shrugs Naruto off and says, "No, I'm not gonna teach you anything else. We're gonna focus on controlling the Kyuubi's chakra and your training in your chakra control." So, Naruto then begins to feel, that Jiraiya is holding him back. Jiraiya does not want Naruto to progress. So, Naruto then takes it into his hands, wanting to learn. He wants to be better. So, he then decides to leave Jiraiya one night. So, Jiraiya just came back from, a brothel after doing some dealings with women. As Naruto then decided to buy Jiraiya some sake. He then put, something into the sake, which will make Jiraiya sleep for over a week, which is enough for Naruto to cover his tracks. So, after Jiraiya drinks the sake, he then falls asleep. Naruto then summons two toads, which are Ma and Pa, which are like those two toads on Jiraiya's shoulder. Naruto then tells Ma and Pa, about the training and, everything which has been happening to him. Which, Ma and Pa, like Naruto's, are the godparents, which are supposed to be Tsunade and Jiraiya, but, they're like, much more. So, Ma and Pa decided, to like ask Naruto if he wanted to train, which Naruto then says, "Is it possible that I can come and train at Mount Myoboku? I really like don't want, to be with Jiraiya. He's not really training me in anything." Which the toads then nod and say, "Yes, Naruto boy, it's possible. Since, some of your father's shoots were with us, because before your father died, he sealed his jutsu library as well as your mother. They sealed their jutsu library with us. So it's possible for you to come and train Mount Myoboku." So, not then asked about Jiraiya if it's possible, like, they can, like, remove Naruto's name from the summoning contract for now. And then he will, like, put it later on after he's done with his training, so Jiraiya cannot summon him, reverse summon him. Which the Toys then not, and they suspend Naruto's name from that summoning contract. So the Toys, then take Naruto and, go to Mount Myoboku. A week later, it's been over a week as Jiraiya finally wakes up. He starts to look around for Naruto, Naruto, he can't find Naruto, Naruto's gone. Jiraiya then heads straight for the village. He tells Tsunade, as he then goes to Tsunade and says, "Tsunade, I have a problem, Naruto is gone." Tsunade then says, "Jiraiya, what do you mean Naruto is gone?" As Jiraiya then explains, how Naruto is missing. Tsunade then asks Jiraiya what he's been training Naruto for the 3-year training trip, which is only 5 months in. So, Jiraiya then tells Tsunade that he's been training Naruto, on his chakra control and how to use the Kyuubi's chakra. Tsunade then says, "So how about ninjutsu? How about genjutsu? How about taijutsu? How about kenjutsu? All those things. How about even ninjutsu? Have you trained Naruto in any of those? Other than just forcing him to use the Kyuubi's chakra and use chakra control?" Which Jiraiya then says, no, I never really thought about those things. So Naruto then says, Jiraiya, you idiot, that's the only reason Naruto left. He saw that you're not training him in anything which is gonna help him. Focusing on the Kyuubi's chakra, he can become too independent on it. What if the Kyuubi runs out of chakra? Which Jiraiya never really thought about. So Jiraiya then sighs to himself and says, don't worry tonight, I'll find him. So Jiraiya then refers summoned himself to Mount Myoboku. So Jiraiya is not Mount Myoboku, trying to find Naruto. He then asked the Toads to try and reverse summon Naruto to Mount Myoboku. Which the Toads then say, oh Jiraiya, we cannot do that since Naruto's name is no longer on the summoning contract. Which then says, Naruto broke the contract with you. Which the Toads then say, yes, he broke the contract. He said, he no longer needed us. So Jiraiya then sighs to himself and says, okay, my pa, Jiraiya then summons himself back to the world, trying to find Naruto. With Naruto. Naruto has been concentrating, trying to master Sage, trying to do some Sage mode training, which Pa is instructing him as of now. So Pa then tells Naruto to create about 1,000 shadow clones, which then does that and says, but Pa, what are these shadow clones gonna do? Naruto asks Pa. Pa then chuckles and says, Naruto, I'm gonna tell you the secret of the shadow clones. If the shadow clone, dispels, you get the information which Naruto is shocked by. So Pa then tells Naruto, with his high chakra reserves, he's training, training which would take him about 3 years can only take him about a few months, with the thousands and thousands of shadow clones which he can create. So Naruto is really happy, as he can progress with his training. So Naruto then asks Pa if he can, remove some of these seals on his body, which Pa then asks Naruto to show him the seals. So Pa is literally shocked by the seals which are on Naruto's body as he then sighs to himself. The only person who is capable of putting such seals on Naruto's body is Jiraiya. So Pa then removes the seals, as he then says, mind seal, release. So Naruto suddenly hit with a break of information, his mind is just really expanded. It feels like it has been locked up. So Naruto then passes out, after receiving such an influx of information. Pa then looks at the other seals, the seal restraining, his chakra control, his sensors. Chakra disruption seal, release, passes. As Naruto's body then glows a shade of blue with some gold in it, as it eventually then changes to white. So Naruto's chakra pathways has been flooded by white light, white chakra. So that chakra is the mix of the Kyuubi chakra, because the Kyuubi comes from the Jubi, which is a sentient being. So yeah, that's the explanation why Naruto's chakra is white now. So Pa then sees another seal which is on Naruto's eyebrow, which Pa doesn't really know. So Pa then says unknown seal, release. So as he releases the seal, a seal matrix then appears, on Naruto's forehead, which Pa then sees, that this seal is a seal which disrupts a dojutsu, which Pa is shocked by. A dojutsu? Kushina did not have a dojutsu. So flashback. Naruto was 6 years old, as Naruto was 6 years old, the villagers were beating him up as his eyes glowed purple, as he then says, Almighty push. So as Naruto did the almighty push, it destroyed half of the marketing district. The Hokage then saw this, that Naruto has this dojutsu which he remembers Jiraiya telling him about. So the third Hokage then contacts Jiraiya to come and seal this dojutsu up, so Naruto cannot use it. So Jiraiya then comes to the village, he steals Naruto, knocks out Naruto and steals the dojutsu away. Which Pa sighs to himself and says, I'm going to have to tell Naruto boy about this. Pa says to himself. So guys, I'm gonna leave off this video. This is just part 1 of the what if I can get about 15 likes on this video, I can continue this what if. I'm also gonna be making what if Naruto was a god, and what if Naruto, a crossover between Naruto and the Marvel universe. So that one is gonna be what if Naruto at the Infinity Stones. So guys, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for over 500 subscribers, guys. I really thank you for the support you've been giving the channel. Peace out, guys.